Apple. Tomato. You know, Apple is one of the companies of all time, so it only makes sense that I do a video about them at some point. Well, folks, today is that day, because thanks to ad revenue and some sponsors, I was able to afford this bad boy. Thanks to you all, I was able to get the brand new iPhone 4S. It's called clickbait. This is the result of just me scouring through my old stuff, like old closets, old drawers, stuff like that. Not looking for really anything in particular. And boy, am I glad I did it, because this thing is just magnificent. This was my first ever smartphone. I got this when I was like 9 years old back in 2014. And for 4 years straight, I was using nothing but this as a phone. And it was brilliant as a phone. Because if you ask me, honestly, Apple hasn't made a prettier iPhone since then. Because look at this. I mean, some of the newer iPhones, they're actually copying this design, and for good reason, because this thing is beautiful. And so as soon as I found this inside my drawer, I knew I just had to film the first time I powered it on. So if you look above, this is the video I filmed as I was powering it on for the first time. So away we go. Okay. You're not gonna believe this. I found the cable. Yes, it was the cable I used to charge this thing back in like 2013 or 14 or whenever I used this phone. Oh, this is the first time this thing's been plugged in like maybe 6 or 7 years. This is exciting. Look how crusty this thing is. 3, 2, 1. Ah! Come on. Breathe. Oh my god! This thing's not dead. That's actually really surprising. This thing has been sitting in a drawer for like maybe like 6 or 7 years, not being used whatsoever, but it actually works. I am beyond happy right now. Okay, I've got some progress. 1, I actually turned the light on for once. 2, instead of just 1 little red bar, there's now 3. If the camera would focus! 3 red bars. That's progress right there. You can see my little sausage fingers. Nice. Okay, so I was just, doing my business, right? My whole desk started vibrating, right? And then look what happened. This thing turns on. Can you believe that? This thing is almost 10 years old. Actually, no. Literally 10 years old. Oh my god. I cannot wait to use this bad boy for something. This whole thing with the iPhone 4S, booting it up and actually getting it working again, kind of makes me want to do it with other old phones, huh? Except I don't even know what kind of cable that would be. Oh, a stylus, right? We're gonna use a stylus. Boom, move the camera. So, I haven't touched this yet. Let's go through every single app on this phone and see just what was in my mind back in 2014, I think was the last time I used this. Now, do you think this might be a weird choice? I think the first app I want to go to is the calculator. Let's just take a look at what equations I was doing at 9 years old. Apparently that was the last calculation I did. Now, I don't know what I was doing, doing like AP calculus in 7th grade, but hey, who am I to judge? This will also count as a test for like the speed, because I'm not going to be closing any of the apps I'm going to, just as a test, Alright, next app I kind of want to do... Ooh, what's this? Useless stuff. I put Safari in useless stuff. Let me check if Safari actually works. It does work! Oh wait, let's go to Apple's website, see if this actually works. It's taking its sweet time. There we go, there's its big brother. Alright. That's Safari, we know that works, or at least that website works. Obviously it works, it was Apple's website. Let's see my credit card info. Keep your boarding passes, movie tickets, retail coupons, and rewards. What? Yeah, I don't think I'm old enough to use this. Let's go back. Alright, what songs... Okay, here's the music app. What songs was I listening to back in the day? Avicii and Fall Out Boy. Now, times have changed. Let's try the camera. See how that works. That's kind of... Oh yeah, I have to switch it. I'm such an idiot. There we go. There's the front camera. What's the last photo I took with this? Hold on. I don't know what that is. Oh, there it is. There's the computer that started this channel. This is like the birth certificate. I'm gonna delete all these photos anyway, so it doesn't matter. What about the App Store? I'm not entirely sure the App Store still works in this version, but hey, can't hurt to try, right? Oh, it does work! It loads! Oh, mate, we got that thing that everybody gets the ads for but nobody actually likes. Do you like my DankPods impression? We got just classics like Geometry Dash, Balloons, Monopoly. TikTok is a fairly new app. I want to actually see if that actually works. TikTok is not compatible with this iPhone. Well, that's a shame. Oh well, wasn't gonna use it anyway. Let's try Amazon. I don't have Amazon installed on this thing. That's kind of a sin. I'm gonna do that. Oh, come on! Spotify? Come on. Come on, Spotify. What? Gmail? Come on. What? Don't think this is gonna work as good as I thought. Disney Plus. Come on. No, are you serious? Twitter. At least let me communicate with the scum of the earth, please. No! Roblox. Wait, I can have Roblox on this thing, but I can't have Twitter? That seems... What? Reddit? Nope. Google Photos? Come on. Oh, that's a killer, actually. The Target app. Come on, please. No! Google Drive? Oh! Ah! Just a tiny little issue. This thing can't install any apps whatsoever. I'm stuck with the apps that are already on this thing, which is not that great. Okay. We can browse the web on this thing. That's more than I can say for most of the things that this phone can do. Browsing the web on this thing, not the greatest experience. Not the greatest. But it's not the worst. I mean, I imagine a smart fridge would have a better time browsing the web, but this isn't half bad. Let's go into settings. That'll be fun. Siri. I forgot Siri exists on this thing. How do you access Siri? Is there a button? You boom. Hi, Siri. Oh, the first sign of life. Come on, belt it out.
Hello. I don't think we've been introduced.
Oh, it's got the classic voice. I don't think we've been introduced. Yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it? My name is D. Oh, I got it right. Nice.
I can't do that.
You... What? What's my name?
You're David. That's what you...
Oh, that's my phone number. Whoops. Siri trying to dox me there. Yeah, this thing's got way too many settings for this video. Let's just stick with the do not disturb. Sure. When do not disturb is enabled, calls and alerts that arrive while locked will be silent and mooncon. I think that about does it. Yeah, there's not really much to look at, except it's just kind of a cool nostalgia trip. What's in the news? Let's see what's in the news. Just as a last stand, you know. This story is no longer available for news. Well, you heard the man. So I've spent about a week with this thing, okay? And boy do I have some stories. So you know how in the introduction of this, I couldn't download any apps? Turns out, that's not going anywhere. You literally cannot download the majority of the apps this thing provides. I mean, the only browser that I found that actually works on this thing is something called Puffin. I don't want to go into it. Look, the point is, you pretty much can't download anything on this thing. This thing has stopped receiving support by literally everybody. Also, the battery life, if you can see that, yeah, it's not great. I don't know how iPhones have gotten over these past couple years, but the battery life in this thing absolutely sucks. And I'm not even sure if it's because of its age. Because obviously it's an old phone. The battery's gonna be worn out. Yeah, that's an obvious thing. But to this degree, I could be on 20% for like 2 seconds, and then it'll immediately go down to 5%, and then 2 seconds later, 1%. That literally happened to me a couple days ago. But I guess it is an older phone, so I guess I can excuse that. But what I can't excuse is, fingerprints literally everywhere on this thing. The front and back side are glass, which you may think is a premium material, and it is, but the downside of it is just fingerprints literally everywhere. I think ceramics are the way to go, honestly. But besides that, that is literally the only gripe I have with this design, because this phone is built gloriously. This thing is stainless steel around the edges, premium, high-quality glass at both sides, and this thing feels like a brick in the hands, and that's a good thing, honestly. Another thing that really surprised me, honestly, the speakers. The speakers are actually fantastic on this thing, even better than some flagship smartphones these days. The silent button, that's been a thing since like the iPhone, 2? So that's always great, as always. Built fantastically, this phone is. Apparently I am Yoda now. And genuinely, the one thing that surprised me the most about this is the camera system. They are fantastic for what they are. They're not great by today's standards, but what they were, it was extraordinary. I'm gonna pull up some snippets that I took in my back garden, and if you see, they're actually pretty comparable. The one on the left is my professional camera, the one I'm recording this on right now. And it's a Canon PowerShot SX540HS Wi-Fi. Jesus, that name. And the one on the right is obviously the iPhone 4S. And if you take a look at these two images, they're pretty comparable. Honestly, I honestly do prefer the iPhone in some cases. That's because the colors is mainly the real selling point of the camera for me. The colors and the lighting, they're just, I think they're superior, honestly. Not to trash talk this camera, obviously this camera's pretty good, I mean, look at it. But for pictures, the iPhone 4S actually does fairly well in today's standards. But for video, I honestly think that is the major turning point of this phone. Videos, in resolution, they may not be the best, but what they lack in resolution, they gain in quality. Because surprisingly enough, when it comes to photos and videos, resolution isn't everything. It doesn't matter if it's overexposed, and I think the iPhone does this way better than this camera. If you take a look at these two videos, you can see that the one on the left is having a bit of exposure issues. The wall at the back is just completely white. That's a brick wall, by the way. It's not like it's a white wall. But if you look on the iPhone, you can actually see some detail. And in the shadow, you can still see the plant. This thing is better than a professional camera sometimes. Indoors is another experience that I want to talk about. Obviously, cameras need light, right? And if you don't have enough light, the camera is just not going to take great photos, or videos, in fact. But I still think that it's a lot better than some of the phones I've tried in the past. So, that's something. But the thing about the iPhone 4S is it's got a front camera. Transition. The front-facing camera obviously doesn't match up with the back-facing camera, but for what it was back in the day, this thing's actually pretty cool. Also, I look like shit, so that's probably a factor to consider. I gotta stop doing that. So yeah, would I say this is a good phone in 2022? No. But I think it's just amazing how, like, beautiful it is, just how well designed it is, even for today's standards. If you're gonna try and use this as an actual phone as your daily driver, I got a piece of advice for you. Don't. Again, nothing works on this phone. Even some of the apps that come with the phone don't work anymore. So if you're trying to use this as anything more than a showpiece, you're gonna have a tough time. I mean, I could barely connect it to iTunes, so... But as just a piece of history, this thing is magnificent, and I am so lucky that I could have this as my first ever smartphone. Now, obviously, I've upgraded afterwards, but oh, look at that design. But this phone really does hold a special place in my heart. More than the Palm Treo, at least, huh? Yeah, don't even think about getting a video about this guy. This thing's dead as far as I'm concerned. So, what did we learn? Well, I'll tell you what I learned. I need to get a cameraman. I think the bigger takeaway from this video is don't disregard older technology just because it's old. They still have a nostalgia factor for most people, and in fact, I would consider myself a big activist for recycling or reusing older technology, because I get it, iPhones and just smartphones in general, they degrade over time, obviously, as most devices do. But if it's still good, I think there's some value left in it. Now, the iPhone 4S, if you actually look on eBay, that value is about $30, which I'd say is justified, but the big takeaway from this video is old technology rocks, and I made this video to prove that to you, even if it didn't exactly convince you of that. So, I hope you all had a good day. This video took a while to make, and I hope you all have a good day, and I will see you next time. Take care. I'm still here, by the way. I never left. Where am I?